Is it cheaper to buy new or restore the trailer you have? Well, stick around because today I'm going to answer that very question. So hit the subscribe button and let's get into the video. This is the 1996 in-suspension trailer that I got when I bought my 1996 Wave Raider. When I got this trailer, it was a rusty mess. I subsequently spent hours restoring it, even down to these little nuts and bolts, which now have nice white caps on. And this is my brand new, fully custom, extreme powder coated fancy trailer. This extreme trailer is essentially the equivalent standard to the trailer I customized, but it's direct from manufacturer. Which begs the question, why would you restore old when you can get this spec new? And the killer question, is it still worth restoring? So first up, let's talk the obvious but major bit, the fact that both of these trailers are powder coated, which importantly classifies both of these trailers as what I would call fully custom trailers versus your standard galvanized trailers. So let's talk quickly about why you would choose powder coating, whether you're talking about new or old trailers. Powder coating provides a really durable finish, and the kicker, it allows you to coat in a range of different colors, which when you think historically, trailers are typically galvanized, galvanization, and that tends to go milky looking pretty quickly, even from brand new. Powder coating in essence gives you the ability to powder coat over galvanization, and when done correctly, will actually last a long time. Now I must stress guys, the key with powder coating is the secret sauce of finding the right powder coater that knows how to powder coat over galvanization. Now I'm not going to get into the detail today because there's a lot of detail, but if you want to know how to powder coat properly, watch this video here where I cover in a 7-minute monologue talking about powder coating. So the first key consideration of new versus old is the cost to get your old trailer powder coated. Plus, and it is easy to overlook, you really should be getting this trailer, your old trailer, sandblasted and then re-galvanized to give the substrate a nice finish, but also a good level of rust protection. I spent hours with a grinder trying to get rid of the rust. Now the logic for me was that I was hoping I'd be able to save the cost of paying for a sandblaster, but in reality, I realized that the sandblaster can just get to all of those little intricacies that you're never going to get to with a grinder, so I would factor in the cost at minimum a sandblaster. Now, this trailer is not actually galvanized underneath. Now there is logic to that. That's because if I was to have got this re-galvanized, they'd be looking like £300–400 extra. Now that would have made this trailer probably near the expense of buying a new trailer. And there is a principle with powder coating where you can have a rust prohibitor base. You can't really tell on this trailer because it's white, but I promise it's under there. So that's why I didn't opt for galvanization. So if we're getting really technical and a little bit picky, powder coating based primers for rust prevention isn't as good as galvanization, but the reality is to re-galvanize an old trailer, you're going to be getting near the cost, and it's going to kind of negate the rationale to restore a trailer in the first place. So the key thing with buying new, i.e. this extreme, is that you're getting the galvanization as your base, then you're getting your powder coating, plus your customization, and the kicker is you're getting the warranty across the whole product, which also brings me nicely onto my next point. When you buy new, in particular Extreme, which is why I exclusively use Extreme, you get all of the color-coded parts inclusive of the price, i.e. the snubber block, the kiln roller, and come on, and light board knobs. A new winch with color-coded strap, may I add. Now this is a black strap, but they offer 6 different colors, which is absolutely awesome. Plus you're getting brand new bolts and nuts, a new hitch, a new watertight press suspension axle, and so on. Now, whilst this is my Batman stealth model, keeps sliding off, super shiny, when you're thinking about a red, blue, green, pink, purple, Ross, do you do purple, blurple? Then it is a really powerful thing to have color-coded parts, because what it means is when you put your trailer on top, ski on top even, Joe, get your words out, then you're gonna have a really, really fancy looking trailer which matches your ski. Extreme are the only exclusive manufacturer that injection mold all of these parts in-house. This is particularly awesome when you think about their roller range where you can get the outers and inner colors and you don't pay a dime extra. Comically, I even used the Extreme snubber and their other ancillary parts on this trailer because they're the only guys that actually do these in a range of colors. So you have to evaluate how much all of that new stuff is going to cost to do on your old trailer. As a benchmark example, to buy all the new bolts, the U-bolts, all shiny new ones like this, that cost me £150 across the whole trailer. Now you don't benefit like those guys do, the manufacturers, from buying in bulk. You have to go into a bolt dealer and buy every size you need, which tends to add up quite quickly. Next up, you really need to evaluate what standard and style of trailer you're starting with. For me, I actually started with no winch post, so I had to factor in the cost to actually get this winch post added on. But not only that, the actual what you call drawbar, which is this main length of metal here, was too short. So I actually had to have it cut. Watch that video here, explains it all, and essentially extended so I could get the jockey wheel in, and I could get the hitch in, and the new winch post. But it's a necessity, guys. Honestly, before I had the winch post, trying to pull the Raider back onto this trailer was a mission. You literally pulled against the friction of the rubber bunks. I hated it. A winch is a must, so you need to factor in that cost. So in essence, if you don't have a winch post, really consider whether that metal fabrication time and money is going to be worth it. What you'll find, restores normally apply to older trailers. Older trailers, typically from the 90s from these classics, were smaller. They didn't use winch post, I guess with the logic that the skis were lighter, but I still think you should have a winch. Anyway, total cost, $170, excluding the actual parts. My next reason to buy new is like with this extreme example, they exclusively use modular design. Now, if you think about that, what I had with the drawbar on this Raider trailer, this is fully modular. So you could adjust the length of the drawbar, pull it in and out, and that is absolutely priceless for future adjustability of the trailer. The next consideration, and is a commonly overlooked one, is the cost of your time. Now, undoubtedly, if you're prepared to take the time to sand all of the trailer, take it to the powder coaters yourself once you've disassembled it, skip getting it sandblasted and regal, then you are going to save costs. Now, I estimate I spent the best part of 3 weeks working on this restore. Now, when I add that up to real world terms for me out of office, it does actually add up to a real world monetary cost. Now, I know everyone's circumstances are different, and I can't comment on what one person's time might mean to them versus mine. But for me, what I've learned over the years is that age-old debate of, yeah, it's just your time, but time is ultimately money, so you do have to factor that in. Plus, the deal breaker for me is you have to evaluate, once you spend all of your hard work, money and time restoring your trailer, it's not actually warranted in the same way buying a new trailer is. Now, I must stress, guys, this whole argument is predicated on whether you can get like for like, the same as what you can when restoring, direct from manufacturer. As I touched on, and it's not an ad, I promise, Extreme really are the only guys in the business that are doing this level of finesse, which really, guys, is bang on what I would take it to. Now, this trailer is a bunk trailer, so you're going to need mold resistant carpet, some new timber, and a good chunk of your time. If you want to watch that video, watch it here. What I would say is if you're in the roller camp, roller assemblies to restore can get expensive real quick. So you do have to evaluate if actually the money spent on the roller assemblies is actually worth it versus buying new. Particularly because the reality is you're probably going to end up going to Extreme to buy those roller assemblies. They offer the full color customization and they use nylon rollers. So there is a tipping point of whether just buying new is more effective than trying to restore all of those components, the washers, the bolts. There's lots of parts within rollers. So really give it good thought, guys. Now, the final cost for me was my fancy staple look fenders. Now, I know you guys will say, Joe, just use a jerry can, save yourself some money. Guys, you're never going to get this flawless look unless you have them professionally sprayed, which is what I did. You can watch that video here. Now, total cost for that is actually £150, which is quite a lot for two fenders, but they do look nice. So by the time you've paid for a sandblaster, your powder coater, all of the ancillary parts, and like in this case where I've had the metal fabrication, I worked out I spent £1,000. Now, importantly, that cost isn't factoring in regalvanization. As I touched on, that's going to cost you another £300 to £400. I'm not going to include that cost to keep it fair because I didn't use galvanization, but I'd recommend you do. Plus, if I would have factored my time in, like I said earlier, this cost would have been significantly higher, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to be fair because everyone puts a different value on their time, so we'll scratch that off. So let's compare. At the time of filming this video, this trailer cost me £1,600, which is a cost difference of £600. So without doubt, if it's purely cost saving you're after, then restoring is going to be cheaper. If you don't mind beavering away in your garage, maybe you've got a powder coater, that would be amazing, perfect setup. Then you're obviously going to save yourself a few pennies. It then just comes down to time, details, and the warranty you get when buying new. A good example of this is these little baby CNC U-bolt protectors. They're so small and well done, you basically can't even see them. Now, tightening damage is a real problem with modular design, with powder coating, but modular design is the USP of Extreme, and it allows you, the consumer, to keep adjusting the trailer. By having these, it minimizes the damage that you actually get with the powder coat and allows you to have the durability not being compromised by that U-bolt biting into the pesky powder coat, which is always super annoying. Whereas if you're doing it yourself, in my experience, once you actually tighten down the U-bolts, that becomes your set position because it bites into the powder coat. So, what have I learned? Would I do it again? And which of these would I recommend? So what I've learned is restoring trailers is a lot of fun, and you get that great sense of pride, as with anything in life, that you've actually rebuilt something from the ground up. However, would I do it again? Honestly and sadly, probably not. In reality, the cost of what you can buy this style of trailer for new is something you just can't ignore. Whilst my cost was technically cheaper, if you factor in regalvanization, which you really should do, and my time as I mentioned, you probably would be around the same sort of cost. The analogy I like to use is I love working on my two-stroke jet skis, but at a certain point, you have to be realistic and evaluate your time and the money versus getting an expert to work on the ski. Guys, the same is true for trailers. Now, if you think of someone like Extreme, they've been around for a long, long time. Whilst I'm proud with having a hand in pushing them to actually do these fully custom trailers, they've taken the concept, they've kicked on to the next level, and their production line now is so slick that you're getting that quality control every time. And I must stress, having restored a lot of these trailers myself and not being able to obviously warranty my own products, it's a big deal to be able to just buy one of these products and not have to stress with any of the intricacies that go into doing it. It's a big, big deal. And you can then just put your feet up and chill riding your jet ski. So would I recommend it? Well, if you want to get hands-on, 100%, because in reality, anything that you can buy new, you can buy those parts for your restore, but just be realistic that by the time you've done your restore, you might be somewhere near what you could get new. It's just to do with economies of scale. In reality, guys making it like Extreme in batch production is always going to be exponentially cheaper than little old Joe in his garage beavering away making this as one-offs. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, this little comparison of old versus new. Hit the subscribe button, because in this series I'm going to be making lots more videos related to trailers, and specifically the age-old debate of roller versus bunk, and that is an interesting one. The end. Ta-da! Done. Hopefully this has been really helpful, guys. Hopefully it's giving you the lowdown whether you should restore or buy new. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. I say that in every video, and it probably sounds like a broken record, but guys, you watching these videos allows me to keep making them. I'm growing progressively all the time, which I love, because the more I grow, the more jet skis I can buy, which Megan's going to go crazy about. But you do need trailers if you want jet skis, and luckily I've got quite a lot of trailers at this point. Guys, thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, pretty please. Obviously, because it keeps the classics alive, so just do it already. Hit that button. Guys, see you in the next one.